a cold sun rises on an ancient lab in the crater that is obedience, and our struggler, Cat, continues his strength conditioning, with his body laden down by weight. For the next few weeks, he will be running back and forth across the open plain, and you can bet that he will have a chance to test his mettle against true steel. The security spiders were one thing, but the iron spiders of this dry lake bed were oh so much more. But while they were larger, they still couldn't stop Cat. Dog, unfortunately, was not so resilient. This was just the beginning of the next step in Cat's journey to improve his strength, dexterity, and ability to survive. While waiting for Dog to rise, Cat would have his hands rather full. From one iron spider to the next, these two would roam. Fighting, while so incredibly encumbered, does a lot to improve one's strength. Cat was not without his injuries, yet his ability to defend and strike faster than these spiders was giving him the edge that he would need. The iron spiders weren't the only enemies out here on the dry lake. No, there were skeletons too. This one different than the old machines that called Mongrel home. It did not speak, it did not emote. It sought one thing, to kill. And so, it is here that Cat shall train. At the beginning of our montage here, his strength is sitting at 52, toughness at 86, dexterity at 59, perception at 4, which won't be changing anytime soon. Cat isn't one to stick to ranged weaponry. His katana skill is sitting at 61, his melee attack and defense at 59 and 64, his dodge at 14, which could certainly be better. And now, as the weeks pass by here, we can hope to improve these skills. And who knows what else might be found among these ancient static limbs. Unsurprisingly, it didn't take long before cat and dog had cleared out obedience. No more iron spiders, no more broken skeletons. And so they journeyed on, northwards, to an area of the world known as the Floodlands. The skeletal towers of obedience were barely visible, but in front of them lay another tale of destruction. The rains came and went, but they were frequent enough to form a shallow lake across the plain. Above them, in the night sky, Cat swore he could see birds flying overhead. But these weren't animals. The small flying creatures more closely resembled the iron spiders of obedience. So perhaps they came from the same creators, be they long lost or still out there somewhere on the continent. The rains picked up once again as they marched towards the lakeside. This rain far more refreshing than the acidic, blood-like water of Vane. As the sun slowly started to rise on a new day, the two travelers could see no sign of life. No animals, no people, no sounds, except for the rain and the slight buzzing of the drones above. Now, closer to the lake, they could make out large structures in the distance, and even more of the old ruins that scattered the land. For now, they'd stick to the land as best they could. But navigating this mess would be no small task, and it wouldn't be without danger. Similar to obedience, the crab-like iron spiders called this place home. Ancient defenders, perhaps, but if Cat had his way, this too was destined to fail. It was after the bout that a rather unsettling thought entered the mind of Cat. If these beings didn't need to breathe, then what would stop them from hiding in the depths of the water all around them? It was a question he would unfortunately have to answer one way or the other, as the land only stretched so far. To continue further into the floodlands without having to go all the way around, they would need to go for a dip. Unless, of course, Cat's fears were realized. Slowly, they unwittingly approached an awaiting predator. Motionless, it waited beneath the surface as Cat and dog unwittingly swam by. Perhaps it was inactive or unable to detect them. Either way, we can be glad. It was difficult to detect what towers might still contain treasures. Most of the structures appeared to be empty husks and nothing more. Their design was unlike anything Cat had experienced before. Partially submerged and hidden inside one of those larger shells, an old structure waited, but with the amount of water damage and time left to rust, there was no telling if there would be anything useful still waiting inside. But as ever, there is only one way to find out. And so, swimming and running past the remains of old iron spiders, Cat and dog approach. As they drew near, the sound of machinery and the hum of lights could be heard, and they were not alone. It certainly would not be wise to try to face these creatures in the water, and so we wait on the shoreline. Then the battle shall commence. Smaller than the iron spiders of the lake, we can only hope that our duo will make quick work of them. But with dog down, it's 2-on-1, and Cat falls. For the first time in a long time. However, he is unconscious, not dead. And after a moment longer, Cat rises again. Dropping his backpack and the generator cores, it's time for round 2. Only one of the spiders has made it out the water thus far, yet these things seem far faster than the larger spiders. In victory, which means dog can get patched up. However, Cat can't exactly rest. There is still one out there. Oh, and as it so happens, that one is actually 2. This won't be an easy fight. Let's see how our man fares. Not so well. However, Dog has managed to take one of them down, defend your master, and that's that. We can be glad that these machines don't crave flesh, for it allows Cat a chance to recover. Waiting patiently for the spider to return to the water, Cat will have a small chance to patch himself back up. Himself and Dog. And while it would be wise to wait, Cat can be brash and impatient. And it might pay to tear their circuits out when they're done, eh, Cat? And you know what time it is. Time to fight again. And there we have it. 3 dealt with. With his backpack back on, it was time to explore. The structure was familiar, seemingly serving the same purpose as the ancient lab that Cat and Dog had stumbled into. And while it was water damaged, it seemed to contain many of the parts necessary to put these iron spiders to work. Sneaking and peeking on the upper floors led to the discovery of more. While still injured, this would not be an easy fight. However, Cat was determined. Yet determination will only get you so far when you're exhausted and dealing with a broken rib or two. No, Cat would have to be responsible. There was always a chance he could find himself critically injured, and with no one to save him, it would be a death by slow blood loss. No, he would have to retreat, regroup with Dog, and let their injuries heal. He just needed to pick the right moment to run. And now Cat finds himself in an increasingly dangerous position, unconscious and floating in the water. Now I can't be certain if he will drown, but we know that this isn't good for his health. Yet your tale is not over yet, is it, Cat? Maniacally laughing, he swims away, with this spider still in pursuit. Past the barbed wire, we are nearly home free. It won't be easy, but fighting this thing on dry land gives Cat a much better chance to survive. And there we go. Another down, back to Dog. Thankfully, the other bots aren't pursuing. For now, he can take a moment as the rain washes the blood away. With a small campfire on the go, Cat, for the time being, can keep himself and Dog warm as the rain dripped off the massive structure above them. This chapter wasn't exactly the montage that I was expecting, but then again, I suppose in Kenshi you should expect the unexpected. We haven't seen too much in the way of change when it comes to Cat's stats today, but at this stage of the game, every level will be harder to attain, and so fighting stronger foes, fighting while outnumbered, and while weighed down, will help Cat become stronger. And I'm certain that once he's had a chance to rest and recover, that he will be able to clear the spiders that remain. As for now, they are certainly putting up a good fight, and this is but one structure in the wide region known as the Floodlands. No doubt, more spiders and mysteries await, but that, Legionnaires, shall all be for the future. Thank you for joining me for another chapter here on the continent with Cat and Dog in the world of Kenshi. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please consider leaving a comment or a like to let me know if you enjoyed the show. For now, I have been Rycon. You have all been awesome. And until next time, stay tuned.